hello. You have joined the Script Mistress again for scene 10. Oh my God, 10 episodes. Today is my interview with October's winner, Charlie Rogers. I am your host, Amber Bosworth, and I am so excited to bring you this episode. I had so much fun interviewing Charlie, and I am sorry, but that's going to be very apparent when you guys listen or watch. Charlie was one of 30 writers that was tasked with writing about one of four phobias. The phobias were teeth, birds, beards, and holes. Charlie wrote teeth. I imagine you can guess which phobia he chose. His logline was: a man believes that he's free of his ex-boyfriend's creepy smile, but he's in for a very unpleasant surprise. He talks about how he almost didn't even submit a script and ended up winning the whole thing. You can read his and the other four finalists' work at thescriptmistress.com/ink winners. INKWINNERS. If you want to read the finalist work, their short scripts are very good. And if you didn't know, you can catch this whole interview on video at thescriptmistress.com/scene 10. Now, we have just finished the third Ink to Screen Screenwriting Challenge, Part 2, the reboot. December will be the fourth. It will run from December 14th to 18th. You have 5 days to write a new 5-page script on a prompt that is sent out the first day. Winners get $150, and every single writer that submits a script gets in-depth feedback from me. This is all included in the $15 entry fee. Just $15 to write something brand new and get feedback on your writing on a 5-page script. Now check it out now at www.thescriptmistress.com/ink to screen. I have opened up the registration for December a little early for everybody. Now, let's listen and see what great tips Charlie has for all of you. Computer.
Ah.
See? Hello, everybody. I'm here with Charlie Rogers, the winner of October's Ink to Screen. He was very nervous to come on here, but I think you're going to do great, Charlie.
Thank you. I am still nervous.
That's okay. That's okay. Like you said, you listen, so people might not watch this. They might just be listening, but you never know.
That's true.
So tell us a little bit about your script, your winning script for the October Ink to Screen Challenge.
Yes. Well, the challenge was to choose between one of the four possible phobia images.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even really know what the top left one was. Is that like pores? But then there was beards, teeth, and birds.
Mm-hmm.
And I really thought I was going to do birds, but I don't know. Then I just settled on teeth, and I came up with the extremely clever title of Teeth. And when, as you know, I actually tried to back out of this one. I had some scheduling conflicts, and so I emailed you, and you very politely said, absolutely not after the prompts have dropped.
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I pulled it together, and I wrote about very scary teeth. I didn't so much write about someone who has a phobia of teeth, but someone who has a discomfort around unpleasant looking teeth and reaches a comeuppance for the way that they treat people with less than perfect teeth.
Yes. Very good. Yes. So what kind of have you dated some people that had some really bad teeth and you're like,
No. I mean, truthfully, I'm the other guy. I used to have,
okay.
Yeah. And I've had people that were kind of like, oh yeah, you're cute, but the teeth, never quite as bad as the main character in my script is. But yeah, no, I had braces just a decade ago, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm 50 now. So I had adult braces for the second time in my life to fix all that, so people won't be that mean to me anymore. But
Oh,
but
well,
so yeah,
yes.
that was really the inspiration. What
Mm-hmm.
was like getting revenge,
Mm-hmm.
kind of, on those people
Mm-hmm.
that made me feel bad about my teeth.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, not like in a really explicit, like, I'm gonna show them.
Well, no, I think we take something and we take part of our lives and we dramatize. That's the whole point.
uh,
You write from what you know, and it's something that you may have thought of. Like, I recently had to do a romantic comedy and I just broke up with somebody. So that was
right.
the best way to write a romantic comedy. I don't think I'm going to win that one because
Or maybe that will be the winning strategy.
see, it came out a little angrier, but we
Yeah.
take like, and that, and that's a T too. Like mine are fake. Like all these are
All
fake,
right.
and I have a take. Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
yeah. See,
Yeah,
so
well, I got
I
this
get,
missing. This is the missing
yeah,
side, right?
yeah, yeah.
My picture is very tiny, but
Mm-hmm. No, no, I get the tea thing, and it was kind of inspired by a mutual friend that we write with. I won't say who,
yes.
but that was like, okay, I got to put teeth on there, and then I wanted to put something fun with beards. And
Right.
I have bird phobia, so I'm like,
Ah.
okay. And then the one, it's actually like really big pores, or
Oh.
like those. I have that too, like, and somebody, bowed out of the challenge because of that, just that picture. Like it's enough of a trigger, and I didn't mean to do that,
Right, of course.
but
But
that's why I gave 4 phobias, not just the one. And you didn't have to work off the picture, which was great. You just had to go and kind of, which was nice. And I liked,
I yeah, I liked that aspect of the like I actually said to another friend of mine, we swapped beta
mhm,
reads,
yeah,
and she also did teeth.
mm,
And I said, we both went in the direction of this is not about a person who has a phobia of teeth. This is going to give other people a
yeah.
phobia of teeth.
Well, I was the one who had to read those, and I'm sitting there in the
I
bird
know
ones.
you
Not
did
so
that.
bad. Yeah.
But you
But
did
I'm
that
like,
to yourself.
yeah, I did. I totally
Yeah.
self-inflicted, and anybody who could make me kind of, and I did, I would write it there. Oh, like you guys gave me the creeps. It was perfect. Like that's the whole point of, especially with these kind of challenges, to make sure you can take something and put it on paper and make it where it's visceral. Like I think that's um,
Right.
a good gift to have, talent, to play with. So why don't you take just a little bit, like describe your screenwriting journey, like what led you to this
Okay.
point? Yes.
Um, I have not been screenwriting very long. Um, I've been prose writing my whole life. And like a lot of people, I took a big break. I wrote a lot, like, when I was a teenager and in college. And then it kind of, life sort of gets in the way,
Mm-hmm.
and things were different then, because I am old, that like, like we didn't have like online literary journals or all these
Mm.
contests that you could just do. And so
Mm-hmm.
you'd be writing in a vacuum, and then it would just get like, I'll do something else instead. Um, but I came back to writing kind of full force in 2019. So
Mm.
just 3 years ago. And at first, I, screenwriting wasn't even on my radar, but I was doing what brought me back, like a lot of other people, was the New York City Midnight contests.
Mm-hmm.
So I started with the flash fiction, and I did their microfiction, and then short screenplay came along, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna teach myself how to do it. And I had an absolute meltdown.
I thought that was going so the other way. Like, I had so much fun.
Oh my God. I mean, I felt, I read a few of the scripts that on their website that had won, and I tried to get a handle on the formula. And and I feel like I'm pretty decent at picking stuff up like that. So I felt good. And um, my assignment was a ghost story with in a pawn shop with a mask. And I
Okay.
wrote this little horror-y ghost story that I liked. but it's all set in one location, and
Mm-hmm.
there's just like it's one character and multiple people come into his pawn shop. And I, through the New York City Midnight forums, found someone to beta read, but I was so nervous because I'm like, I don't know the format. I don't feel like I can return a beta read because what do I know? This is
Yeah.
my very first script, but this is all in my head. And my beta reader, who has since become a real friend of mine, she was like, "It's great." I'm like, "Okay, fine, thank you. I feel so much better." The next day, I'm like, "It's too simple." And I freaked out and I wrote a whole other script on Sunday afternoon, the day it
Yeah.
was due.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up coming in fourth place
Wow.
for that one. But then I didn't do so well. It took me a while to
Mm-hmm.
get but I like it, but I've never I've never considered myself, so like just the other day I was listening to Joe's interview, the previous
Mm-hmm.
winner,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I don't think that he's been really hardcore doing this a lot longer than I have, but he
Mm-hmm.
considers himself a screenwriter, and he's got
Mm-hmm.
like a cover fly, and he's adapting things into, and I'm like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
I'm more, my focus as like a writer is more of prose. Like I
Mm-hmm.
just finished a novel,
Wow.
writing a novel
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago, but I want to do more screenwriting, like
Mm-hmm.
more in a professional capacity, like write a feature,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yes.
maybe within the next year or so. But for now, I'm happy just to do the contests. And I'm thrilled that yours is back, because when you were doing it before was in that period of time, like
Mm-hmm.
right after I had just, dipped my toe into the New
Yeah.
York City Midnight
Yes.
thing. I signed
Mm-hmm.
up for screenwriting in, I guess, 2020, and I
Mm-hmm.
panicked. I was like, the competition is too fierce. What is even the point? And I didn't do it. And I felt sort of similarly, not so much that the competition was fierce, although I'm sure it is, but about yours.
Mm.
I had all these friends that were doing it, but I just was like, oh, I'm scared. And then you ended it, and I was like, well, that's what I get for waiting.
Yes.
So that's
Yes.
why when you brought it back, I'm like, yes.
Yay.
Yes, yes.
Yes, I had quite the response. So it
That's
was
great.
very humbling for me too, because as much as I love writing, I love, like, because I also teach things, and I love teaching and helping and spreading the
Yes, yes.
the knowledge, because like you said, it is like, it still kind of is. You found a really great group of people through New York City Midnight, but a lot of writers out there, just
Just like,
it's so isolating.
yeah,
and
yeah.
and I think it helps doing these and getting to know people too, because it kind of also helps you kind of put your ego aside, as some of us
Yes.
writers tend to have quite big ones. And
Simultaneously huge egos, and then like
yes.
crippling
Yeah.
imposter
Oh,
syndrome.
well, oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yes. Like, I mean, we wouldn't
Oh.
be able to survive as writers if we didn't have both of those, like our worst critics. But oh, no, I hate it, but you hate it. That's not right.
Exactly. How dare you hate the thing I
How dare
hate?
you hate the egg? Yes. You're supposed to love it. Exactly. Exactly. And like,
Exactly.
even me, like when I get feedback too, it's like, oh, do I want to read the
Yeah.
but I do, and
Right.
you're like, you're right. Of course I knew that, So
Right.
I think these little things, and it's kind of like, so you're preparing for the marathon. Like, you're doing these trainings, these with
Yes.
these competitions, you're training, and you have something small, and when you do go for the feature, you'll have these as like things to pull from, which I think is
Exactly. And I mean, a
yeah.
lot of times I try to, just push myself in a little way
Hmm.
with whatever screenplay it is. Like,
Yeah.
I've never done a montage, or,
Yeah.
like, let's try
Yes.
putting a montage in,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah. See if I
and
can. Hmm. Yeah. No, that's great, and I mean, that's the whole purpose. I love when I hear that. So what were some of the things, like, so you're just starting out in 2019. So what were some of, like the resources you went to? What were kind of the things? Did you just go like right into this to the New York City Midnight, or did you
yeah,
have a
no, I just,
particular?
I signed up for it,
Because
and
you were doing the short story stuff, right?
yeah. And so
Mhm.
prepared just by reading scripts. I started with, because they've got the winning scripts
Yeah.
of past years. So I read those, and then I also went into their forums and read, because I was already in the forums so I had made some, acquaintances who had done, say, Flash with me. And
Oh, okay.
I knew that they had also done screenplay or screenwriting or short screenplay in the past. So I went and I found their postings of people that I already knew what it was like when they wrote prose. What's it going to look like when they're writing a script?
Yeah.
And so I just, kind of trained myself that way. Oh, and I think I'm trying to remember if I did this before, but I think what I did was I took one of my Flash stories and turned it into a script.
Wow.
Just to get a sense of, coming up with an original idea part out of it. I did that part already. I already wrote it. I know what the plot is. Now just try to get the format.
Yes.
And the format's really not that hard.
It's not. And it really isn't. And once you figure it out, I think as long as you don't think so much on it, just write what you're going to write and then kind of worry about it later. I think that comes so much easier than when you're midstream and you're like, should that have been another line or
exactly.
Yes. So yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. Stories like that. No, it's just been playwrights and screenplays for me.
Right.
I think I maybe tried to write a romance novel once, so it was kind of funny.
Well, we all have different skills.
Yes.
And I think I'm I just am a prose writer because I always was.
Yeah.
I just was my mother was a big reader, and she was a writer, not professionally, and my older sister, who I looked up to, was a prose writer. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
And it just never even occurred to me to write screenplays. But I do think an honest assessment of my skills as a prose writer, I think I translate better to screenwriting than some people. If you're a prose writer and your thing is you'd write just jaw-dropping, gorgeous prose that's going to make people want to kill themselves because they could never write something this beautiful, that's going to all get lost in screenwriting.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you can write some cool things in dialogue, but your descriptions of the way her hair falls on the shoulder, is all lost.
Because
and I'm not so much that kind of writer. So I feel my thing is more characters and dialogue. Characters sort of form the whole thing for me.
Yes.
So, I have some friends who are prose writers that I'm you should definitely try screenwriting. And I have others that I'm you probably shouldn't. You're a great writer, but stick to prose. It's
yes. And some people, I kind of go the opposite. I'm you should probably stick back to prose or kind of tighten it up, because I think what people sometimes forget too is screenplays are, it's a lot about what isn't said. And it's subtext, deep subtext that you have to be able to, you have to have the talent for that, to put it on the page so that the director and the actor can pick it up too, because you don't know how they're going to interpret it too. So that's kind of when I come and, read your guys' scripts, I come from it as an actor too, because huge characters, because I've been acting a lot longer than I've been writing. And I'm just I would love to get this part. This would be amazing. So I kind of drive it that way. I think it really helps. And I always tell screenwriters, go take an acting class.
Right.
Just go sit in an acting class. You don't have to do anything. They'll go through some techniques with you, but you'll get a whole different perspective, and you'll meet some actors who later on you can be hey, will you read my script out loud? And you like my dialogue? Help me out here.
No, that's actually really good advice. I acted in high school, and I took an acting class in college. And I discovered that I was too nervous to audition, even for the next level of that class.
Oh, yeah, to audition for the next level.
Yeah, still as a freshman. But just to take acting
Mm-hmm.
102, you had to audition. And I was like, I can't do it. And then I
Uh-huh.
said to myself, real talk, if you
Mm-hmm.
can't audition for a class,
Yeah, yeah.
and you just
Yes.
took the class and most of the other kids in the class were bozos.
Yeah, that's
these
probably
are the
why
people
they
you're
do that.
these are the people you're competing against.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't audition for a class, you
Yeah.
probably are not going to be a very successful professional actor, are you? So I stopped, but
Yes, but
but I loved it, and so that may inform my
mm-hmm.
process a little bit.
Yeah.
That like I try not to put too much,
Mm-hmm.
to leave subtext, I guess is what I'm trying
Yes.
to say.
Yes. No, and you
Leave some
do.
space
Yes.
for the actor and the director. Like you don't want
Mm-hmm.
to, whereas in prose, you are all those things.
Everything. You're everything.
You're the
Yes.
director. You have to like
Mm-hmm.
direct the characters. He
Yep.
walked across the room quickly,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
whereas
Yes. Yeah.
in a short film or a play,
You
the
don't. You just
actor may
say,
decide
yeah.
like,
Mm-hmm.
what if I actually run to the window?
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Exactly. Yeah.
and the
Cause then
director
you
might go,
get, yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Because then you get or directors who like you're directing this through the script, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to be a director for the script. Set up the scene, give your characters, and then give us the dialogue and let them figure it out if you're really good with the dialogue. So that's yes, very good. All right. So are there any like mindsets or screenwriting techniques that you've kind of picked up that kind of help you in the process?
Trying to think, anything anything specific to screenwriting. Um,
Well, what about prose? Is there certain things that kind of get you in the mood?
um, I mean, I do find that I don't know if this exactly is an answer to your question, but that when I'm struggling and I haven't been assigned a very rigid genre, if I just
Mm-hmm.
fall back on horror,
Mm-hmm.
that's my like ironically
That's your
comfort
okay.
zone. Yeah.
Horror's your comfort zone.
Yeah.
No,
Which so
that's
that's,
yeah.
yeah, the only two contests I have ever won in my entire life were both in
Yeah.
October. One was a prose thing last year,
And then
and
this.
then
Wow.
this because it's
But
like, okay, give me horror, I'm okay.
that's great. I never thought I'd be good at horror, and I wrote a horror comedy, and I won that challenge. And I'm like, well, okay, just you got to bring your own thing in it. But even like, yeah, you bring a little horror, and so no, yeah, if that's what you're strongest in, and that's why I mean,
Yeah.
like the ink to screen, it's like you guys kind of get to pick your genre, which I like, and there were a lot. I think there were quite. It was kind of good 50-50 on comedy and horror
Right,
in
right.
in the phobias. I'm like,
Yes. And yeah, and some that were definitely mixes
yeah.
of,
Mm-hmm.
or like, so like I read Alyssa Beatty, who was a finalist.
Mm-hmm.
I read hers and it was like, it's horror, but it's so ridiculous.
Yes.
But it's not
Mm-hmm.
treated as a horror comedy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that
Yeah.
balance,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, and I like
Um,
that when you're able to kind of skirt those too, especially in such a short script. That's a really good sign
yes.
of that as well. So, very good. All right.
Um,
So, okay, so when you read another writer's script, what impresses you and what are some things you really don't like?
mm, what impresses, well, I mean, just the usual, like, I mean, the stuff that you've talked about,
Mm-hmm.
the ability to, what they don't say,
Mm-hmm.
the space between the
Yes.
lines.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's an amazing thing to do, to trust,
Yes.
as a writer, to trust that whoever's reading this, or
Mm-hmm.
once you're taking it to a production level, like whoever's interpreting this
Yeah.
is going to be able to, fill in the space that you've created. So as a writer, other writers, when I see that, well, that's awesome. um and I just love great natural dialogue, which is way
Mm-hmm.
harder to do than a lot of people realize. um
Yes, it is.
I'm trying to think of things I don't like that aren't just like well, I don't like Westerns or, like,
Well, not like genre, like specific
yeah,
things
no,
that
I know
maybe,
that's not
yeah,
what you
okay,
mean.
yeah.
That's,
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean, but no, I like everything. I'm trying to, yeah. I mean, aside from just the obvious, like, so I mean, here's a huge, it's a cliche
Mm-hmm.
of unearned emotional, like you see it in romance related things a lot, like two people just meet and then
Mm,
suddenly they're
yeah.
trying to think, like I'd never seen the play, but when it came out I saw the movie for Les Mis. And the whole
Mm-hmm.
thing about these two young people who are madly in love after seeing each other across a crowded space. They are madly in love with each other. I don't remember if they had even exchanged a word.
Mm-mm.
And that
Yeah.
drives me crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, in something like a Les Mis or a Romeo and Juliet, it's
Yeah.
like, well, whatever. It's for a certain sort of poetic license, but you see it all the
Mhm.
time in, like, in the Halloween movie that came out 2 months ago or last month, whenever it was. I
Mm.
don't want to spoil anything for people who haven't seen it, but there's a whole subplot about people who like barely know each other,
Mm-hmm.
like willing to kind of like not put their lives on the line in a horror sense, but a
Yeah.
like, it would be like if you just like right now asked me like, are you going to give up everything that own and come to, South Dakota? I'd be like, yes. These 10 minutes have changed my life.
Yeah. Well, 30 minutes now.
Is it 30 minutes? Oh my God.
No, yes, yes,
Yeah, so
mhm,
that is a thing that drives me crazy, is
yes,
unearned, just say it more succinctly, unearned
uh,
emotional,
yes, like connection.
whatever it
Yeah.
be, that
Mm-hmm.
where it's not on the page.
Yes, yes. I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. We're just, yeah. And I have seen, I mean, I've read a couple that were just kind of like that. And I'm like, and it's 5 pages. You could create a little bit of a backstory to where they haven't
Yeah.
just met each other, or, create something where we have a little bit more, subplot, a little
Yeah,
bit
and I mean,
more
I
connection.
sometimes
Yeah.
sometimes it's definitely the 5 pages thing. Um, like I don't know if you remember my September script, but like it's basically like a scene missing in the middle, and you're
Okay.
like, yeah, you're a great writer, but I don't really get it.
I feel so
And you weren't wrong. You were
no.
absolutely not wrong.
Mhm.
I when
Like
I wrote
something
it,
missing in the middle.
yeah,
Yes.
when I wrote it, I thought, I think this is ridiculous. And I showed it to some friends and they're like, this is awesome. And I'm like, okay, if they're getting it, I guess. And then you didn't get it. I'm like, see, I knew I was right. But
And
it
I
was a
can
5 pages thing. Like, I mean,
yes,
if I had
yes.
10 pages, I could have like explained what these characters' relationships were. But
Yes, yes.
yeah,
And that is really the difficult part. And that's where you have to think like, can I create it like even like shorter span of time? And I felt really bad because a writer who has been doing it a long time, he submitted one to me and I'm like, where was the phobia? Like, and he had created this whole different like, and I'm like, this is awesome, but there's no phobia. And he's like said something later about something in somebody's beard. And I'm like, what? Like that was like, I did not at all. Like I went through it twice and I feel bad. Maybe I'm I don't, I try not to be distracted when I read your guys' stuff. And I'm just like, so it was just fun. And there you go. Maybe there was just, again, it was something, it's so in your head. That's why it's good to have other people read it.
right. Oh,
Like,
absolutely. I think having
and
other people read is
yes.
crucial. But
Yes. And because you have it so in your head, it's like, oh, this is great. Like, because you understand it, because you have all the story back here, where somebody who's never read it before, and it's like, yeah. And it's hard. Like my mom, like, it's great, Amber. I'm like, mom, you don't
yeah,
understand. You don't know.
yes, yes. I have a good friend who I send him everything that I write. He's a great
Mm-hmm.
friend,
Yes.
and he's one of the reasons
Mm-hmm.
that he wants to direct something, and so he's always like,
Yeah.
write a feature.
Mm-hmm.
But his response to most of my things is, it's good. It's
Yeah.
great.
It's
I really
great. I
like it.
love it.
Yeah.
I liked when they talked and then they walked somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. All that talking and that walking, it was
Yes.
very, very Sorkin-esque.
Well, tell him
Yeah.
to direct one of your short ones.
Well, yeah, he's
Yes.
one
The
of these
teeth won't be good.
days.
Yeah, right. No, I get
Yeah,
it. I get it. Teeth.
Although the
Oh my God,
special effects of the teeth one,
that would be kind of hard. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I do try to always, when I am writing, like think like, what would this entail to create,
Yes.
and to not like go too,
Mm-hmm.
overboard. Because especially when you're doing a 5-page, it's like whoever is going to make this, not saying anybody's ever going to
No,
produce any of my scripts, but just in
you never
case,
know.
they probably are not going to have huge budgets.
No, no, no. I think it's like what the last or a couple podcasts ago when I was talking about the short script, and to yes, definitely take that into consideration. But when you're doing a something like this, then you don't need to.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't like,
you have a lot
I'm
of
not
fun.
like, cut that scene because we can't afford that, the cigar,
Yes. Yes. I didn't really think about it. Mine was super low budget rom-com.
Right.
It's great. So what tips would you like to give out to people that are just starting? Because a lot of people that listen are just starting out.
Find a community. It's made all the difference in the world for me, both as a screenwriter, but as a writer in general.
Yes.
Like I have a friend who's just really good at formatting, and so the rules.
Yes.
So I just always like, oh, can you read my script? And I learn all these things like, oh yeah, I guess this is like instead of sending a mess to you that you have to mark up 500 times, like maybe you only have to mark it twice.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just through community. Like just finding, I mean, originally I was through New York City Midnight, which is a great place to start.
Yes.
But it's too big. It's,
it's gotten really big. Yeah.
Yeah. Like lock into a couple, just really good people. That is my biggest, advice for writers of any is, and it's, like I said, it's made all the difference. What I didn't have when I was a writer at 20 was, I mean, I had people who, friends or whatever, who were like, oh, your stories are great. Yes. But there was never enough of a pushback of like, no, this story is not great.
Yeah. Like,
you need to do better. Whereas like when you have other writer friends, they will tell you the dialogue and this is terrible. What are you thinking? I love you, but this is bad. So I guess that's the biggest thing I would say. And I feel like when you first asked the question, I had like 2 different answers I could give. And now I have lost the other one.
That's okay.
Because I got so invested in my community. Yes. In my answer of community.
I like that too. And again, like when you were 20, we didn't have like all this where you could be, so close to people in other parts of the country and the world. I mean, we have writers from all over the world that do this inked screen. So that's been really awesome and learning there too. So very, very, very good advice.
Well, thank you.
Yes, yes, yes.
I don't really feel qualified to, but I mean, I guess compared to people who are literally just starting out, then I guess the other thing I was going to say is just don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to try screenwriting, for example. Like the rules aren't that hard, and for some people, it really, some people who might be a middling prose writer will turn out to be a fantastic screenwriter. Yeah. Because they've got great ideas and great like character movement but they just don't write great pretty sentences. Yeah. Like and we can't all, I mean, we all have different gifts, and so I feel like writers do themselves a disservice by drilling down into, I'm a science fiction writer and I write, or I write, 77 series, fantasy novels, and that's all I do. That's a fine, anything is fine after you've experimented a little, see what, and and maybe the thing that you like to read isn't the thing that you're best at writing. Yes. Like I love mysteries. I love reading, like, not so much Agatha Christie,
Yeah.
but that,
No. Yeah.
like more modern versions of that. But writing one,
Yeah.
like plotting that, oh,
Right? Like you can appreciate that's what the great thing about that is too. And I think it is a good thing for every writer too to maybe even try it, because I mean a lot of books are being turned into movies, and maybe, just taking something that you've written and like maybe I can see what I can do with it and turn it in. You never know. Like, and that's just more money.
Exactly.
If they don't have to hire another script, a script writer to write it's just a little tip there too. So, and I think it helps any medium. Like has it made you a better prose writer writing screenplays, kind of having having like just getting out and having, and that's what we said right at the beginning, experiences,
Yes.
Yeah. So as long as you're out there and writing, and that I always say, just write. Just right. Even
yes, absolutely.
Just right. Like even the people who like sign up, because a lot of people not a lot, but I would say about 25% of the people that sign up don't submit anything. And I'm like, look, I will still give you feedback. Write it and turn, like other places won't do that. New York City Midnight, if you don't miss the deadline, you're out,
Exactly. You get nothing.
You get nothing. So I will, and I have not had one person do that. Like after the deadline, turn it into me. So I could, but I'm like, I could totally still give you feedback, still take the prompt, still do something with it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I should actually say this because I've had a number of friends who, for whatever reason, had to bail.
Yeah.
On, or, just in the past
two
times, you've done 3 times now. We've done 3
times. Yeah.
But, and I mean, and I was almost one of them.
No. Yeah.
Just pull any 5-page screenplay you want and just send it.
Yeah.
Like
just get
free feedback. I mean, not free because we paid for it, but
you
already paid for it. It's free now,
Well, and it was crazy. Well, and it was funny because I think the first month I did it, this lady, she didn't understand what it was. She sent in like a 12-page screenplay on like, it had nothing to do with anything. And I'm like, but I did. I provide, I marked it all up and I'm like, well, yeah, absolutely. Send in 5. You got a scene you're working on. You want me to kind of take a look at it or whatever. Absolutely. You paid for it. Let me do that for you, because feedback is a huge thing. And you never like, you miss all that stuff too. And I know you have like people beta read it and everything, but I try to be, I mean, even if I really don't like it, I'm still very diplomatic.
Yes. Having submitted something that you clearly really did not like. You were very diplomatic.
Yes. Now if we were just friends, I was like, what the hell was that?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I type a little bit on my iPad, and I'm like, nah, it's probably not gonna come back if I do that. But yeah, because, and like New York City Midnight, I mean, their feedback is really helpful and is not very. But they do. It's constructive criticism. And if you can't take that from like a $15 challenge, then you are screwed.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. I mean, what bothers me, I can take criticism. I don't like it when, well, the one thing that the New York City Midnight people do all the time is I would have liked some backstory on this.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And what do you think I should have cut to make room for this backstory? That you wish, like, like, I don't have like a TARDIS of words that I can like somehow
yes,
turn this 5 pages into like, oh, you open this secret hatch in the center.
Yeah.
And now it's a feature. And we've got backstory for you and backstory.
Like a pop-up book. Yep. Pop-up book. There it comes. There it comes. Book. Yeah.
That is one of the things. And the other is when people just don't seem to be paying attention.
Yeah.
When they like misgender your characters. And I don't even mean that in a like, political sense, but just like I gave this character a male name and other people refer to him as him.
Yeah.
While you call the person who just read it and is judging me referring to them as female.
Yeah.
It's because you weren't paying attention. Because you're reading 500 scripts. And I get that. Judging is hard. But,
yes,
try to at least show that you're paying attention.
Yes.
Because then I can't, it's hard for me to like respect the rest of your criticism if
Yeah,
you're making a
exactly.
really obvious mistake. And
Yes.
that's actually, with New York City Midnight, that's happened to me a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
I
Not
haven't.
necessarily the gender thing, although that,
Yeah, but
I
where
mean,
something
because
negates it.
as a gay man, and a lot of my prose stuff I write first person. So
Mm-hmm.
like if I say, like, oh, I'm waiting for my boyfriend, people just think, oh,
Yeah.
this character's male. I mean female.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I try to take steps to like
Make
make it
it very
clear,
clear. Yeah.
but they miss them. But
Yeah.
we're not
That's
talking
yeah.
about prose right now.
I know, right?
That's what we're
But
not.
still, well, and I feel bad because I'm like, I just read people's like 5-page script and I'm writing the feedback. I try to do it like right away. And I'm writing it and I'm like, what was the character's name again? Oh crap. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
have to go back to the script. I'm terrible at that. I'm really good at like, especially when it's formatted correctly,
Right.
even when the character talks again and it's continued, that helps me like keep it visually, but some don't. So I'm like, ah crap, who was talking again? So
Right.
because again, I read it kind of like an actor, so I focus on characters, but then I have to go back and I'm like, oh crap, what was the character's name again? And I try really hard,
Yeah.
not to do that, because I do a lot of gay characters in mine too. And I haven't, but you're right. I kind of make it a very obvious male
You can't, yeah.
name.
Yeah, you
Yeah. Or
have
a
to. And
female
then you find out,
name.
like,
And
I had a story where, I named a character Gil, like short for
uh-huh.
Gilbert. And
Yeah.
apparently that could be, the way it's written, could be pronounced Jill
Jill.
in
Oh,
like
okay.
New Zealand or something,
Oh,
and I was like,
okay. Yeah.
okay.
Wow.
But that
Well,
was
I
one
mean,
where
yeah.
2 of the 3 New York City Midnight judges got it wrong.
Oh, 2 out of
Yeah.
3. Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
It's rough. It's hard
Yes.
being me.
Yeah. All right. Is there, besides like, I haven't posted them yet. Well, this is going to come out on Friday. You guys are listening on Friday. So your script
Okay.
should already be up on the
Okay.
website. It'll be up, I promise.
Yeah.
My birthday weekend and all the craziness
Ooh.
and the yes.
When is your birthday?
Wednesday. Yes. So I had my birthday party and a birthday
Wednesday
wedding.
in 2 days, or
Yes,
Wednesday
in
in?
2 days.
Okay.
Yes. So not like pretending it's Friday. So when this comes out, I already had my birthday. I already turned
Gotcha.
40.
Ooh.
The big one. No, one of them, right? Just
No,
another decade.
I was curious because my brother's birthday is the following Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
So I
So
was like,
the
oh,
30th, right? Yep.
yes.
Yeah.
So you're the
No,
23rd then.
I'm the
Good.
23rd. Yes, yes. So I have to get those scripts up for you guys, and
Yes.
because
Well,
even
yeah,
somebody
so
asked.
you got your birthday, you've got Thanksgiving, you've got
Yeah,
Black Friday.
yeah,
It's like,
I know.
you got
Right?
to get this moving.
Yes, I know, but I'll get it. So you guys can get his script. You can read it at www.thescriptmistress.com/ink winners, INKWINNERS. And I promise I'm not putting up the phobia picture.
I not do that again.
I usually put the prompt up, but I just put it with the little spider and the phobia. So I'll put it up with that, so you guys don't have to see the different phobias, but I'll list them out like in
Right.
text so people know
Yes.
what they are, and that was good. And a lot of scripts had it like what phobia they had to deal with on there, which was really nice. So
Yeah.
I will have that up for you.
I know mine's very hard to figure out with my
I
title.
know. Teeth. Yeah.
You could tell that I was like, I mean, I put
No.
effort into the script itself, but there was that part of me that was like, whatever. I tried to quit, Amber wouldn't let me, but she said, oh, just submit something. So here I am.
Submit something. Yes.
So I'm like, the title, teeth.
I mean, we had Fear the Beard, A Murder of Crow, Extraction. Yeah, Murder of Crow. No Shave November. So Bird of Prey, Insect. So I definitely don't judge you guys on your titles or your log lines, because people still need to practice their log lines. But I don't. That's not a. Maybe if you guys were like tied, I might be like, well, his log line was better. His no.
Yeah.
Well,
if it really did come down to that, that would be understandable. Like,
yes. So
but yeah. I mean, it seemed like a perfectly acceptable title, but it
Yeah,
is
yeah.
not. It's not like, here's my full creativity on display. I have spent hours coming up with the perfect title for my creation, and it is teeth.
Teeth. But
Yeah.
again, it doesn't have to be. That's the great
Yeah, no,
thing. And I think there are just some people that are trying so hard to win that they're missing out on like inspiration. I think that kind of
right.
hinders them a little bit. And I'm like, and that's kind of hard too. So sometimes I just read it and I'm
Yeah,
just like,
yeah,
it's like you guys are trying to read my mind of what I might
yeah,
like.
yeah.
Like
Right.
you may have read Joseph's, like, oh, his then, and but if I do, and I'm like, oh, because
Yeah,
that's
don't.
on the nose. Sometimes it's funny, but if it's done in like a organic way or a very subtle way, I like
Right.
that, so I like those subtleties.
Well, and
So
also, I mean, we tend to like, you know, we like more of what we already like, but
yeah,
we
yeah,
also, especially in the case of like, really when you're judging someone's creativity, what you want is something new.
yes,
So you don't
yes,
want like, well, Joseph did this one about a guy holding up the sun, and it's a
mm-hmm.
very literal but bizarre
Yeah, yeah,
interpretation of the photo. So maybe,
exactly, mm-hmm.
like, just do what
Yes,
strikes. I will say that, partially because having won, it took a lot of the pressure off to ever try to win again. But also just other things going on in my life that I've been focused
yeah,
on writing this novel, which I have
mm-hmm.
since finished. But this month, the ones that are in your hands now,
Mm-hmm.
I was so much more like, I'm just having fun with
Yes,
this. And it was really refreshing because I used to be all like, I have to win. It has
no,
to be
yeah,
perfect.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And I put so much pressure on myself. And that is maybe the other advice I would give is don't do that.
Don't do that. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
don't do that. Like, if anything,
Have
I
fun.
mean, when you think about it, like how many, I mean, at least with ink to screen, it's a smaller group. You guys, I mean, I
Right.
have a lot, I haven't expanded super big yet. But with New York City Midnight, there's so many people.
Yeah.
And it really, you have to use this kind of as a time not to be like, what will they really like? Like, you really got to think outside the box, push yourself, learn something new, get that feedback that you paid for,
Yeah.
and that's what you really have to use these things for. Because if you did win all of New York City Midnight, really, what is it going to do for you? I mean, not crazy amount of much,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
same with
Like
ink
it's
to screen.
yeah, it's
This,
nice to win a prize and to
yes.
be able to
Mm-hmm.
say, but it's not really gonna like change your career,
No, no,
like,
no.
and
Mm-hmm.
as much as, yeah, I mean, I guess that is another piece of advice that I
Mm-hmm.
would give is really just try to, have fun,
Yes.
enjoy. That's,
Learn how you are as a writer, because
yeah,
especially when it comes to writing that big one, writing your, I don't know what the word is, your masterpiece. There you go.
yeah.
When you're writing your masterpiece, you'll have all these to pull from. And that's like a good thing with the ink to screen too, is because people love deadlines. Like,
Oh
like
yes,
we
yeah.
love deadlines. We kind of love we're kind of addicted to that adrenaline, the
Yeah,
pressure. Like
exactly.
like a lot of you guys out there wait till the last freaking minute and are shocked when I'm sleeping and I don't immediately say I got it at freaking 11 o'clock at night. So no, I love you. Like, I love them all. I love it all. It's just like, don't worry, I got it.
Yeah.
But no, so we live with that adrenaline, and I think just a nice little monthly thing to kind of push you to get something written down, and then
Yeah, yeah. So that you can always every month
mm-hmm,
say, what did I do this month? Well, I did that. I mean, other
yeah,
months there will
yeah,
be, there'll be
yeah,
like, oh, I did the New
yeah,
York City Midnight Screenwriting
yes.
Contest, but
Mm-hmm.
those don't happen every month.
No, they kind of
Yours
and
does.
then they go
And
a little bit
so,
further, yes.
um,
And it does, like, and that's why I give you guys the log lines too, is or make you write log lines, is because now you have a bank of log lines. Like, you just keep
right.
a portfolio and just like, dude, I can write this, because your teeth, like, you could make that into a longer piece. Like, that could
Yes.
be really developed and into something completely longer and better. You just tell somebody that I have this, and it shows that you can write it. Here's a snippet of it. but I can make it.
Right, right.
Yeah, I can make it bigger. So you never know.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
never really thought about doing that. Although that's
yeah.
actually what I've been doing, like the novel I just wrote started out
Mhm.
as a short story.
You see? Yes.
So like,
Hmm.
why not? For some reason, when I think of scripts, I'm like, nope, that's it. I wrote it as 5 pages. It's
No.
finished. I mean, maybe I could expand it to 6 pages.
No, I mean, this one you could definitely make into a good, like maybe even a half an hour, like a good 20-minute one to kind of like extend the suspense. And especially with horror, like the shorter it is, like you can just lengthen it out with the suspense and the horror and everything.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah. So we can find all your scripts on the Script Mistress
Yes.
website. Well, thank you so much, Charlie.
Yes, thank
Mm-hmm.
you. Thank you. This has
Oh.
been, I mean, the whole experience. I don't mean the interview. The
No,
interview's been great as well. But I mean just the like everything that you do for
oh,
the writing community and
thank
and
you.
what you've done for me personally.
How awesome was that? I told you, I had way too much fun interviewing him. Now, I hope you learned something new to help you because I know you are now inspired to join the next Ink to Screen Challenge and join Charlie in the winner's circle. Now, you've got some time, so check it out at www.thescriptmistress.com/ink to screen. And don't forget, if you want to read Charlie's work, you can get it on the website at thescriptmistress.com/ink winners. Now, he also got back to me a little bit after that interview. And he gave me his own author's website at charlierogerswrites.com. Now, this focuses more on his prose, like he mentioned, but should not be missed if you want to check more of that out. Now, I have all of these links, everything. You don't have to go writing them down or anything. If you're watching the video on the webpage, then look right down below. You'll see the link. And if you're listening on the podcast, just check out the show notes. I'll have them in our show notes. Now, if you listened last week, I just want to remind you that I've created that outline template to help with your script outline. Now, this is a fillable PDF, or you can print it out and fill it in yourself. Completely free. Completely free. It is a short template, but you can print out just the scene by scene pages if more is needed for your script. It's kind of more tailored to a short script, but again, you have the flexibility to add some of those pages and print out more of those if you'd like. Now, it's on the website, thescriptmistress.com/outline. Go over and get it. Now, I wouldn't leave you without a writing action. And Charlie kind of inspired this one because there's really no forward momentum unless you get into action and write. This is the whole point. Get out there and write, just like he told you. Now, get on to whatever social media platform you like best. I know we are all particular to what we like the best. And try reaching out to 3 writers that you follow or admire. Try DMing them. Try kind of reaching out, commenting. Try to make a connection and build that community that has helped so many in their own journey, just like Charlie mentioned. Now, you can do this on my own Facebook page if you're a part of the community there, the Ink to Screen page. That would be wonderful too. Reach out. There's so many writers in there that really love to help. And Charlie's they have their own little knit in there, but again, it's a smaller community. So definitely get on there, join the page and join the group, and we will welcome you with open arms. Now, thank you so much for listening and or watching. I truly value any feedback. If you have an idea for a podcast that might help you in the long run, you can email me at amber@thescriptmistress.com. Like and follow this show wherever you are listening, and talk soon. Until then, happy writing.